Hey y'all, it's your girl Tifa here with a video. Today I'm crafting, so I decided to make a video for y'all so that way I can walk y'all through the step of exactly what I'm doing today. My craft for today is drying flowers in silica gel. So what I have in order to dry flowers in silica gel, I have a clear container with a lid, silica gel, and of course any flowers that you choose that you want to dry to save, keep, or preserve. Silica gel is the perfect way to dry flowers because it actually preserves the shape and the color of the flower, instead of whereas if you hang dry it, the flower closes, it takes longer to dry, so it normally would turn like a darker color or not its original color. So with the silica gel, it actually helps preserve the color and the shape of the actual flower. So I'm gonna go ahead and show y'all. This is the silica gel that I have. It's Flower Drying Art Silica Gel. I have gotten this in a 5-pound bag from Michael's. And I'm pretty sure for today's flowers, I'm not going to use probably even close to this full 5 pounds. So with this came a conventional flower drying time chart for flower drying art, and it lists many flowers and the number of days that it would take for them to dry within the silica gel. So based on some of the reviews and the videos that I have watched, based on those with the silica gel, sometimes this chart is an estimate. It's not going to be 100% accurate. So depending on, this is most likely based on complete dry and brittle, like to where it makes the flower so dry that if you bang it or bump it, it will crumble. So for what I need my flowers dried for, I don't necessarily want my flowers to be that dry. So if you don't want your flowers to be completely dry to where they are just so brittle that they are crumbly, I would suggest starting to dry your flowers and then checking on them the next day to see if they're dry enough for what you need them for, or if you need to let them go another day or up to the time that's listed on this chart. And it does list multiple different flowers, and I'll just name a few: baby's breath, cornflower, daffodil, daisy, marigold, iris, heather, pansy, peony, sage, and zinnia. So that's just to name a few of the many flowers listed on this. So I'm going to go ahead and set that off to the side, and then I'm also going to show you all my flowers. The flowers that I'm actually going to be drying today. I have 2 roses, a red or really dark like fuchsia pink, and then also a pink and white. And if you can tell by looking at my roses, I have already removed some of the inner petals, and that is just done to open up the space in the center of the rose, so that way you can actually see down into the center of the rose once it is completely dry. I also have these. I'm not really a big flower person, so I couldn't tell you what they were called. And then I also have this stem of beautiful leaves that I'm going to dry, as well as these pretty little flowers here. And I chose these because I love the colors. I actually got these at my local gas station. They have some flowers out that they were selling that were kind of getting a little over on the wilted side. And so what I done is I grabbed a couple of the bundles that I wanted. I bought them home yesterday, and I took the outer petals off that were starting to have like a brownish or like deadish color to them or look. So I removed those, and then I put some plant food into a cup of water. I trimmed the stems and stuck them in the water, and they started to perk back up a little bit. So now that they're a little more open, this morning I came and I took the inner petals out, so that way once they're dry you can actually see the middle of the flower. So the first step is to get some silica gel down in your bin. So I'm going to move the camera so you all can see what I'm doing. So this is my clear bin. I actually got this at Dollar Tree for $1. And then I already have some silica gel that I have poured into this cup. So I'm going to go ahead and pour this into the bottom of the container. And I just want to make sure I'm covering it by just enough so that the bottoms of the roses will be covered in the silica gel, so that way that the whole entire flower is completely getting dried out. So I am going to go ahead and pour some more back into my cup. And having a cup or a measuring cup or a funnel or anything like that just makes it a lot easier for you to be able to get the silica gel in between the rose petals. You want to make sure you get all the way in between all the petals. And that allows it to make sure that it is completely dried out. So now that I have that done and I have some in the cup, I am going to bring you guys back up to me. There we go. And I'm going to put the camera here so that way you all can see how I cut the roses or the flowers that I'm going to dry. So I think I'm going to start with the pink rose. It's really pretty. As you can see, the end is wet, so you can tell that it has been getting food and water. So what I will do is I will take my shears. These are actually really good scissors. These are kitchen shears. I actually got these at Dollar Tree for $1, made by Betty Crocker. Good quality for a good dollar. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the scissors up to, if you can see, the base of the rose. I don't want to cut all the way up here right at the tip, because then that will basically remove the center of the rose and allow it to all be able to fall apart. I want to actually keep these little leaves here as well, so I'm going to cut right here at the base of that bulb. Now that I have cut that off, I'm going to take this pretty little rose and show you the back of it. That's what I cut. I'm trying to make sure it's focused for y'all. And I'm just going to pop these little petals back. I'm going to set that to the side, and I'm going to go ahead and cut the other one, so that way when I move the camera back to the silica gel, we can just stay focused on the silica gel. So I've got my second rose out, and then I also wanted to have a couple leaves in there as well. So both of these leaves have a little brown spot on them. So I'm going to check for another one and see if I have a better one. These are both looking pretty dead, and this is a nice big one, but it also has a little brown spot. But it looks pretty good. So I am going to take, I actually want both of these leaves, even though they have a little brown to them. I want them both. So I'm going to take those, and those will actually go in my project with these beautiful roses. And same for the second rose. You don't want to cut all the way up here. You'll lose the inside of your flower. Everything will fall apart. Cut right at the base of the stem, between the straight stem and the bulb. I'm going to go up just a tiny bit. There we go. I'm going to set that off to the side, and I really want a leaf for both of them, but I actually have a leaf that I kept off of these when I cleaned them up yesterday. So I have this one to use, and I'm going to use this one as well. so now that I have those done, I am going to go ahead and I'm going to get some leaves off of this beauty. I'm going to try to get some that are completely open. And these leaves are pretty tough, so I think they'll hold up really well in the project that I plan on doing. And once I do that project, I will do a video for y'all. And because I may end up using these other leaves, I'm going to stick those back in the water. I don't want to waste any of them. No waste. Alright, so for these pretty little flowers, for these here, I'm going to try to find me a pretty little bundle that has the dark purple and the light purple. And I think I found the perfect one, which is going to be this one right here. And I leaned it back and it snapped right off, so I don't even have to cut it. Now I'm going to take these and put those back in there. So see how pretty? Then any of the leaves that aren't in their place, I'm just going to open them up and put them where they go. So that way they can kind of all be spaced out and very, very pretty. Those are so pretty. And I am going to get this pretty set of flowers. If y'all can see those are so, so pretty. And I am going to find some that I can take off. And I think I'm going to take off some off the entire stem and some singly. So for the prettiest stem that I see, that's got quite a few of them on there that might lay down right in the silica gel, that is going to be this beauty right here. So I'm going to just snip that. And there's that one. And then I'm going to look for, since I took that off the stalk, I will take this flower and also looking for one that's really pretty and open, like that one right there. So I'm going to take that one off. And there's that one. There we go. That's really pretty. And then I'm going to stick these. Maybe I should get some more. Let me see. I really think I got what I want, honestly. And if these leaves were more open, they would be perfect for my project. But since they curl and close, they wouldn't lay good. And so I'm not going to use these leaves, even though I really want to. Oh, I found one. Oh, yay. I found one that's open. So I'm just going to break that off. That'll go with those. And the rest of them are pretty much curled and closed. So I'm going to stick that back in there with the other ones. And then I'm about to show y'all how we get to drying. Alright, I'm going to readjust the camera. to the bin. And there y'all can see the flowers too. I'm going to move that out of the way a little bit. Alright, so I'm going to start with my leaves first because I know that'll be very, very simple. Pretty leaf number 1. I'm just going to lay these in here. And I'm going to get the rose leaves in here. These are going to be really pretty, y'all. I want to lay it on the back instead of the front. No particular reason, that's just how I want to do it. Alright. For these pretty little flowers, I think I'm actually gonna stand these up, so I'll wait on that. Give me a second and I'll show y'all how I'm gonna do that one. Alright, so for these pretty roses, I'm gonna take them and just sit them in here, making sure that when I put them in there, the bottom is going into the silica gel but not touching the base of the container. So that way there's silica gel underneath and in between and everywhere else. So I'm going to start by going ahead and covering up the leaves. Now, as you can see, the silica gel is making dust. Wear a mask, hold your breath, keep your head pulled back or whatever. Don't breathe it in. If it absorbs moisture, I would say it's not a good thing for you to have in your body. I'm going to go ahead and get me some more poured in my cup. And I'm going to be sure to seal my bag back up immediately after I'm done pouring. You never want to leave your silica bag open. Always make sure it is completely sealed. This is to ensure that your silica just sitting, absorbing all the moisture in your house. And then I'm going to start by pouring into the roses. And you'll be able to see that it will open them up a little bit, and you just want to build up a wall for them. Alright, now for mine, I have skewer sticks. And what I'm actually going to do with these is I'm going to use the skewer sticks to pull the petals back. And this is going to allow my flower or rose to be more open, to have a more open shape when it's done drying. So I want to make sure I pull it all open a nice little amount. That way you know silica gel's getting down to the bottom, and also it'll have a big pretty shape. So if you can tell the difference of how closed this one is compared to how open this one is, it'll be more open when it comes out, and you can see the little leaf poking up. Okay, so I'm going to open this one up with my little wooden dowel. If you get a little wooden piece on there, just pull it off. I just like to make sure I pull those off, that way I don't have to risk it breaking off into my rose. And then when I do my project, you never know, it might come floating out. I don't want that. So you can tell it's a little tight right here. I'm going to move some of that so I can open that up. Same with that one. move them around. Now, as you can see, when I'm opening these up, I am using this skewer stick, but I'm not pulling excessively hard. I'm basically tapping, and I'm not pressing all the way down to the bottom. I don't want to damage the bottom of the flower, and I don't want to damage the pretty center of the flower or the rose. So I am trying to be very careful while I'm doing this. Now that I've got those opened up and we can see we've got gel down all in all those, I'm going to go ahead and finish pouring those off. Get them completely filled up and covered. Now every time I pour the top of my roses, you'll notice that I will open these up. That's because I want to make sure they are getting completely dried.